Stories. Weird stories. Murders, too. Turn out your lights. Turn them out.
Good evening. Come in, won't you? Why, what's the matter? Surely you're not nervous. Perhaps it will calm if I tell you a story.
We are meant to call from out of the past stories, strange and weird.
Tales of mystery and terror by radio's masters of the macabre.
Stories of the supernatural, the supernormal, dramatized like fantasy, the mystery, the unknown. We tell you this frankly, so if you wish to avoid the excitement and tension of these imaginary plays, we urge you calmly and sincerely to turn off your radio now.
Welcome back to The Horror. This week we'll take a visit to the Hermit's Cave, a series that aired from September of 1936 to May of 1947 over CBS stations. 558 episodes were produced in that run of the series. There was a separate West Coast run, 217 episodes that aired from 1940 to 1944. Our story today is from June 27th, 1937. It's titled The House with a Past.
The Mummers in the Little Theater of the Air.
Stories. Weird stories. And murders, too. The Hermit knows of them all. Turn out your lights. Turn them out. You heard the story? The House with a Past, eh? Then listen while the Hermit tells you the story.
It's 8 o'clock, Paul. You'll have to hurry if you're going to get to the store on time this morning.
I'm hurrying.
Oh, you know, Paul, I think I'm going to like this little town. No, I couldn't bear the thought of moving here when you first told me you had bought out the drugstore in a little jerkwater town.
I think we'll be happy here, honey.
Oh, imagine finding a dear little house like this, all furnished. Why, it's nicer than anything we could get in the city. And the rent so reasonable. How did you ever happen to locate it, Paul?
Well, Mr. Rogers, the banker here in town, owns it. Belonged to some member of his family. They've gone away or something, so he rented it to me. Now, I've got to go, honey.
All right. Will you be home for lunch?
I'll call you on the phone if I can get away.
Okay. Oh, listen, dear. You must be careful about leaving lights on in the house all night. When you came to our room after listening to the radio last night, you left 3 lights on in the living room.
What? No, I didn't.
Oh, yes, you did.
But I tell you, I didn't, Margaret.
Our neighbors in small towns might think it very strange if they saw lights burning at all hours of night. Besides, we can't burn up money right now, Paul. Just getting started in this new business and all.
I don't know what you're talking about. I know I turned off the lights before I came to bed last night.
I'm afraid you're getting absent-minded, honey, because 3 lamps were burning when I got up this morning.
No, I won't argue with you. I gotta go now.
All right. Don't get too absent-minded, dear. You might mix the wrong prescriptions for people. What? Well, look. Well, there goes the milkman right past the house. I told him to leave milk and cream every morning. Must have forgotten. Call him in, Paul.
All right, I will.
Let me see. What should I do first this morning? Oh, I love this little house. It's going to be grand living here. Oh, that must be the milkman. Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Won't you come in?
Thank you, ma'am.
I guess you forgot about me this morning. I want milk and cream every day.
Yes, ma'am. I didn't forget about you exactly. I thought maybe you would be moving out already, so I didn't stop.
Moving out? Why, we just moved in day before yesterday.
Yes, ma'am, I know. But that's about as long as anybody stays in this house.
I don't see what you mean.
I just figured I wouldn't leave any milk for you, because you might move away in a hurry and I might not get any pay.
Oh, we aren't in the habit of moving out of places in the nighttime. I still don't see what you mean.
The last folks that moved in here about 4 months ago, they got out in the night, and in a hurry, too.
How strange. What for?
Well, if you haven't found out yet, you soon will.
Found out what?
This house. There's something in it. Queer things go on here. Things that frighten folks half out of their wits.
Yes? Well, what is it? What is it that's strange?
No one knows, ma'am. But they say the house is haunted.
Is it one of the superstitions of this little town?
I don't know, ma'am. But most folks here in town know it's true. Should I leave a quart of milk, ma'am?
Yes, and a pint of cream every morning, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Here, I'll pay you for the week. Then you won't be afraid that I'll run off and you won't get your money. Here you are. Is this the right amount?
That's right, ma'am.
Oh, someone at the door. Pardon.
It's your next-door neighbor, ma'am. I seen her coming across the backyard.
Oh, thank you. None of my neighbors have called as yet. Good morning.
Good morning. You're Mrs. Liveston, aren't you?
Yes, I am. Won't you come in?
Yes, although I can't stay long.
I'll be going, ma'am.
Oh, yes, and don't forget to stop every morning.
No, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, I will.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, ma'am.
Well, so you've moved in here to stay, have you? And your husband bought out the drugstore. Oh, it's too bad old Mr. Green had to die. He was such a good druggist, and I depended on him so. He fixed up the most marvelous remedy for my rheumatism. And I always say these new doctors mean well, but they don't know the old-fashioned remedies the old men did. Oh, no, sir.
Oh, won't you come in the living room and sit down?
No, if you don't mind, I'll stay right here in the kitchen. Not that I'm afraid in this house in the daytime, mind you, but, well, I like to be right near a door where I can get out in a hurry.
Mrs. Dutton, will you please tell me what this mystery is all about? The milkman was trying to tell me something about him, but...
Now, that's just what I thought. I said to my man last night, I said, like as not, Seth Rogers. He's the banker who owns this house.
Oh, yeah.
I said, I'll bet you dollars to donuts he didn't tell you folks a thing about it. Now, isn't that the limit?
Oh, what is it? Tell me all about it.
Well, there are no two ways about it. This house is haunted.
Huh? Oh, you don't mean to tell me that a lovely new house like this is branded with any old-fashioned belief like that?
Enough, all right. Sometimes I actually get so frightened right next door to it that I threatened to move out of the neighborhood. I said only last week that if I heard any more stories about it, I'd have to get out.
Oh, for goodness sake, tell me what it is. I don't want to live in ignorance of what's wrong with my own house.
That's what it is. Oh, it's a tragic story. A very tragic story.
Yeah? Well, tell me.
Well, this house was built for Mr. Rogers' daughter. He gave it to her for a wedding present. Oh, I remember as well as if it were yesterday. She was such a beautiful girl. And her husband. My, but he was handsome.
They live here in this house?
Yes, but only for 4 weeks, mind you. Just 4 weeks in this lovely little house.
How long ago was it?
Just 3 years ago last October. My, it was a terrible thing.
Oh, what happened to them?
Well, as I say, they'd only been married 4 weeks when one day he went out hunting. How well I remember that day. I was the first one over here when I heard about the accident.
To him, you mean?
Yes. Oh, my. To think that a couple so much in love should come to such a tragic end. Well, as I say, I was the first one over here. I even got here before Mr. Rogers came to tell his daughter about it. I had to break the news to her.
Something had happened to her husband, you mean?
Some other hunter shot him accidentally. Killed him outright.
Oh, how terrible.
Terrible is no word for it. And wait, you haven't heard the worst part of the story. 2 weeks afterwards, that poor girl, that lovely bride, who was a bride no more, killed herself.
Oh, no.
Yes, she did. Threw herself in the river. Drowned.
Oh, what a tragic thing.
Oh, her poor little body. They never recovered it, though they dragged the river for days and days.
Well, it's a terrible thing, Mrs. Dutton, but I don't see what it has to do with this house being haunted.
Oh, wait, I'm coming to that. You see, for 6 months after they died, it was closed up tight. Mr. Rogers never came near it. I came over and sorted out her clothes and personal things for him. He wouldn't step inside. Then I guess he decided to rent it. It was all furnished and everything.
Oh, it's so nice even now.
4 different families have tried to live in it since then. But they all moved away in a hurry. They claimed they heard things walking at night.
In this house?
Yes, walking all over it. Ah, tragedy struck it too soon. And the ghosts of those young people come back to walk on the earth they were forced to leave.
Have you ever heard them walking?
No, and I don't want to.
I heard nothing last night.
But you will. You mark my words. Oh, great heavens. What was that?
Sounded like something in the living room. I'll go see.
Something certainly did fall.
What? Why, look. There's this beautiful vase that's set on the mantel. Oh, what a shame. It's broken in 1,000 pieces.
And not a car going by on the street to jar it. Not a thing. Oh, I tell you, they're beginning to walk in the daytime. Let me out of here. Let me out of here. They haunt the house in the daytime now. Oh, let me out of here.
Paul, wake up. Turn on the lights.
What is it? What did you say?
Wake up. Turn on the light. Right there beside you.
What's the matter?
Listen. There's someone walking up in the attic.
I don't hear anything.
Wake up and listen, you will. You hear it?
I hear a noise.
Someone walking, I tell you. I can hear it plain as day. Oh, turn on the light.
Yeah. Now do you feel better when you can see?
I don't think I hear it, no.
I suppose whatever it was knew we turned on the lights and scampered away. Honey, I'm ashamed of you. You let that neighbor of yours get you all upset.
Oh, no, I haven't. I'm certain I heard someone walking upstairs.
Well, it's stopped now. What do you say we go back to sleep?
Well, let's sleep with the light on.
Nonsense. Go on back to sleep and forget it.
All right. I'll try.
May I turn off the light then?
Yes, go ahead.
There. Now you calm your fears. Go back to sleep.
Oh, I know you think it sounded silly.
Of course I do. You can't scare me.
There are such things as ghosts, you know.
Where? In books?
In life.
Ah, you're silly.
Paul. Listen, Paul. There it is again. Don't you hear it?
I do hear a noise.
It's someone walking right up over our heads. Paul, you've got to go up in the attic and see what it is.
All right, I will. Just to satisfy you. But I know it isn't anything. Just the wind rattling something up there.
Wind doesn't make the sound of footsteps. Oh, hurry, Paul.
You wanted to get me?
I want you to find out what it is.
Well, where's my robe?
I'm beginning to see why people moved out of this house. How could they stay here with this strange walking over them?
You want to come with me?
No, I'll stay here. What's that? Oh, it's Paul walking up the attic stairs. Oh, I've got myself in a nice state of nerves. Now, if that's Paul, it sounds exactly like the walking before he went up there. What was that? Paul! Paul, come here! Paul, come here, quick! What happened?
Margaret, that was down in the kitchen.
I'm coming. What is it?
Look what's happened here.
My heavens. Oh, what in the world?
Every dish in the cupboard is smashed on the floor.
Oh, of all things. All these lovely dishes broken. What could cause it?
By golly, if this isn't the limit.
What could cause it, Paul? Was there someone up in the attic?
No, there wasn't. But, Margaret.
Yes?
I don't want to get you frightened.
No, tell me, what did you see?
Well, it wasn't exactly what I saw. Well, in a way it was, too.
There was something, wasn't there?
As I was climbing the stairs to the attic, I don't know what it was, but I had the queerest sensation, as if something brushed my shoulder. I could feel it, almost see it. It was as if I were blind and yet could sense someone or something trying to move stealthily past me.
Oh, Paul. Oh, dear, the house is haunted there.
I don't know. But if it is, and something did pass me on the stairs, it came down here in the kitchen and threw all these dishes on the floor.
Let's get out.
I'm going to talk to Mr. Rogers in the morning. I can't believe it yet, but there certainly is something going on here.
I know it. I heard them walking long before you did. And the vase on the mantel this morning, it broke too.
Well, keep calm, honey. We'll find out what it is. Right now, if you can find a cup that isn't broken, I'll have a gallon of black coffee.
What can the trouble in the house Paul and Margaret have rented be, eh? Who is moving about in their house in the dark of night? The hermit will tell you before the night is done.
And now, the hermit again.
It is the next morning, and we find Paul in the office of Mr. Rogers. Listen.
It's all right, Mr. Liveston. You're welcome to move out. I'll refund your month's rent.
I don't want to do that, Mr. Rogers.
You've stayed a night longer than anyone else who's rented the house. I don't blame you for going.
You haven't ever stayed there, have you?
No. I presume you know the story of my daughter and my son-in-law.
Yes, I do. I don't want to bring it all up for you again.
It's all right. It's with me all the time. What I started to say was, I can't bring myself to go in the house. I built it for my little girl. I couldn't go into it. Ever.
What I'd like to ask you is, do you take any stock in the story about the house being haunted?
I don't know. All I've heard is from the people who've rented it. They say so.
But you don't believe it, do you?
I don't know. There might be some truth in it.
Yet you've never investigated.
Oh, I think you understand. I can't visit that house.
But maybe if you came and stayed in it, we could clear the matter up. Won't you come over to the house and stay with my wife and me tonight?
Well,
Please. We'll feel a lot better. We want to live in the house if possible.
Well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll try and forget my sorrow. I'll go there to the house tonight and stay with you.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers.
If there is anything, we'll find it. But I don't want the house all torn to pieces.
Oh, no, sir. We won't do that.
I hate to lose the property. But if it's true that there is something wrong, I may have to burn the house down.
That would be a shame. My wife likes the house. We'd like to stay there.
Well, I'll be over tonight. Maybe we can straighten it out forever.
Good evening. Oh, Mrs. Dutton. Come right in.
Suppose you're surprised to see me. I didn't think myself that I'd ever come into this house at night.
Well, now you're here, won't you take off your things and sit down?
I just wore this shawl. I'll keep it over my shoulders. Isn't that Mr. Rogers' car out in front?
Yes, it is.
Well, think of that. I never expected he'd come to this house. Never. Is there something wrong? Something more than usual, I mean?
Well, not exactly.
It must be something very strange that would bring him to this house. He never set foot inside it since the death of his daughter, you know.
So I understand. But he very kindly consented to do so after my husband went and talked to him.
What about?
Well, we like the house very well, and we'd like to stay here if we can.
Has anything else happened since the day I was over?
We did hear some strange sounds.
I knew it. And you've gone right on living here. How can you do it? Why, I'm sure Where's Mr. Rogers gone?
Oh, he and Paul are looking through the house. They've gone down the basement now, I think.
Searching? What for?
Well, nothing definite.
What could they find? Things that haunt houses couldn't be seen.
Well, you know how much better anyone feels after they've searched all through a house which frightens them.
Oh, my heavens. Look.
Where? What do you mean?
Can't you see? Look at that chair.
What?
Look at it.
Why, it's rocking.
Oh, of course it's rocking. All by itself.
Oh, they must have jarred it while they were down in the basement.
Oh, no. It's spirits rocking that chair. I know it. Whatever is in this house that haunts this place, it's after someone. Or it wants something. I know it. Oh, it's rocking again. All by itself. Oh, help! Help!
What is it? Yes, what's happened?
Oh, Mr. Rogers, it's you. Oh, I'm glad you've come. But now you may stop whatever it is in this house.
What is it, Mrs. Dutton?
See that chair there? It started to rock all by itself.
Did it, Margaret?
Well, yes, it did. I thought perhaps it was because you jarred the floor while you were down in the basement.
Oh, it was spirits. I know it. Oh, my nerves. The nerves are all unstrung. I've got to go home. Right now. Right now.
Well,
she really was frightened, wasn't she?
Of course, if it did really move of its own accord, it would frighten anyone. I can't make it out. We haven't seen a thing.
Oh, it isn't that there's anything in the house that hurt you, Mr. Rogers. It's only this constant moving of things in the house. And in the nighttime, someone or something moving in the attic. We haven't seen anything either.
I don't think we shall. I shall have to admit I'm still at a loss to account for it, though. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'll retire to my room for the night. But I promise you I shall stay awake. And if there is anything, we'll find it.
Well, I can hear it tonight, all right, Margaret. Was that the sound you heard?
Yes, that's it. Should we call Mr. Rogers?
No, let him hear it for himself. Then we'll be certain it isn't a product of our own minds.
How could it be a product of our own minds? There's certainly something moving about in the attic.
Someone, something walking. You're right, it is.
Yes?
Mr. Rogers.
Just a minute.
I think I heard what you've been referring to. The sound of something moving in the attic.
Yes, Mr. Rogers, we just heard it too.
Shall we go up there?
Yes, I guess we better. I can't make it out.
I'm going to.
All right. Will your robe be warm enough?
Yes, I'm all right.
Then let's go right away.
Oh, wait. There aren't any lights in the attic. I'll take a flashlight.
Why, the attic was wired for electricity.
I guess the bulbs have been taken out then. Because I couldn't get any light the other night when I went up there.
Listen. I hear it again. Do you? It sounds as if whatever it is was moving faster, walking more rapidly.
Are we all ready now?
Yes, I am.
Of course, we won't see a thing. All these weird things happen and we never see a thing.
Here are the stairs. Watch out now. Don't fall on anyone.
Oh, I hate to admit it. I'm so scared my heart is pounding like a trip hammer.
I know. I went cold all over when I heard the sound of walking while I was in my room. The light should turn on right here.
Guess they don't work. We can see pretty well with this flashlight. Yeah, you see? Not a thing. Totally deserted.
We can't peer into the corners very well.
Wait, I'll stand up in this chair. Maybe the light bulb has come loose. Maybe I can fix it. I can almost reach it.
Here, I'll give you a boost.
Now I've got it. Yes, it is loose. There. Now turn on the switch.
Yes.
Oh, there. That's fine. Now we can see better.
But there isn't anything to see. Isn't it the queerest thing?
Did you feel anything pass you on the stairs this time, Paul?
No.
Did you, Mr. Rogers?
Pass me on the stairs? No.
Well, neither did I. And if there is anything in this house, it should still be right here in this attic.
Do you mind if we tear things to pieces up here and search thoroughly, Mr. Rogers?
I don't know what there is to search for, but go right ahead. I hate to disturb my girl's things that were left here in the attic. But we might as well, I guess.
I just thought it might be an animal or a bat or something living up here. We may find it.
Well, that wouldn't account for the dishes breaking, Paul, or the chair rocking.
This is just a pile of bedding, isn't it?
Yes, I guess so.
Oh, look. Look at this big trunk. What's in it, Mr. Rogers?
Oh, that trunk, why, it was one my wife and I first took to Europe with us. My little girl used it for her trousseau, I guess.
I think it's locked. But maybe I can open it. Stuck, I guess. Rusty. Oh, there. It's opening. Paul. Paul. Come here. Paul. Oh, Paul.
Margaret, what is it?
Don't look. It's a body.
What? Great heavens. What is it? It's a body, Mr. Rogers. A woman's body.
What? Let me look at it. Great heavens. It's the body of my daughter. The body of my daughter.
Margaret is much better, Mr. Rogers.
I'm glad to hear she's getting along all right. It was a terrible shock for her.
And for you, Mr. Rogers.
Yes, it was. So much I can't even think or reason it out.
You know how it happened?
Yes, we found a bottle of poison in the bottom of the trunk. She crawled away in there and died.
Believe me, my heart aches for you.
But at least now I can give my little girl a decent burial. Mr. Liveston, I'm convinced there was something that moved about in the house. Aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Either the spirit of my daughter walked in that house, or that of her husband trying to tell us that the body of my little girl was there.
We haven't heard or seen anything strange for the last 3 nights.
No, and you won't. The spirits will rest easy now. They'll rest easy.
The wandering spirit was set free. It will walk no more. Turn on your lights. Turn them on. I'll be back. Pleasant dreams.
All characters, places, and occurrences mentioned in the Hermit's Cave are fictitious, and similarity to persons, places, or occurrences is purely accidental.
That's the horror for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. You can find more from the Hermit's Cave, past episodes of the horror, and thousands of other old-time radio episodes at relicradio.com. Our Shoutcast stream is there as well. If you'd like to help support it all, give that donate button a click or visit donate.relicradio.com. Your support makes all of this possible. My thanks as always to those who have. Thanks for joining me today. Be back next Saturday with another episode of The Horror.
Strange Tales.
RelicRadio.com presents tales of the strange and bizarre, the weird and the wicked. Stories not necessarily of the supernatural, but of the unnatural. Join us now for Strange Tales, featuring radio drama at its most mysterious and unusual. This week on Strange Tales, we'll hear from Inner Sanctum, series created, produced, and directed by Hyman Brown, who we also know from the CBS Radio Mystery Theater, which he created years later. We'll be hearing from them next week, but this week we'll hear Night is My Shroud, Inner Sanctum's story from October 24th, 1949.
This is your host to welcome you through the creaking door into the inner sanctum. Friends, just as you do, we're dressing up our little hovel for the coming winter season. Of course, the color scheme will still be completely black, with blood-red splotches here and there to relieve the grimness. And I'm putting in a new hearth made out of an old tombstone. It has a little inscription that reads, "Here lies Lizzie Liddow, a proud and self-made widow, who bright and early one fine day sliced her husband's head away. She'd caught the culprit with a wench and won acquittal from the bench."
Tonight's Inner Sanctum mystery, Night is My Shroud, was written by Milton Lewis and stars Kenneth Lynch in the role of Danny with Ann Shepard as Baby.
All right, friends. Sit back and collapse. Relax. Our story's about to begin. Now, just try to remember that none of the things you hear in our stories can happen to you more than once. Ready now. Then turn the lights down low as we hear Danny Manton tell us a strange story.
I expected any second I was going to hear a knock on the door. I knew if I opened it, Chigger would come in and kill Baby and kill me. And Chigger wouldn't kill fast. He'd take his time. You know how Chigger is. So we stayed in that crummy hotel for 5 days, afraid to go out because maybe somebody would see us and tell Chigger. Yeah, 5 days. No sleep. Too scared to eat. Nothing except the rotten coffee they sent up. Just me and baby.
I can't take it anymore, Danny.
What's the matter?
What do you think's the matter? I'm getting out of here.
Sit down.
I don't care what happens no more. Even if Chigger kills me. I'm beginning to hear things in my head. I'm seeing things that ain't there.
Shut up.
No. It ain't right for a wife to walk out, I know, but Oh, Danny.
You're soft. I always knew you was soft. Mush. But you ain't walking out on me.
How long do you think we can stay here?
I'm staying until I get a call that the coast is clear.
That's what you've been telling me, but you don't get that call. Maybe you'll never get it.
Stop crying.
I can't stop.
Shut up. I think I hear somebody outside our door.
Chigger.
You hear that?
Yeah.
Somebody walking up and down.
Danny.
Skip it.
It's your own footsteps you hear.
Huh?
Don't you see what's happening? You're jumping out of your skin when you hear your own shoes make a noise.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe you're right.
Danny, look. Look, let's get out of here. You said when we welched that 500 from Chigger here that we'd go away and we'd work out some dance routines. Let's grab a train, Danny. We'll take our chances with Chigger. We'll go to South America, Mexico, any place. We'll work up a few numbers. Vaudeville's coming back all over again. They're even booking acts in the palace again. We'll make dough, Danny. We'll pay back Chigger and be in the clear. What do you say?
There was something queer about them footsteps.
A footstep? Danny, didn't you hear what I said?
Stop talking.
You crazy. What are you banging on the wall for?
You hear that?
Yeah. Somebody knocked back. Where'd it come from?
The next room, I think.
Why did they...
Let me try something else. Let me try a dance step.
You think they'll hear?
Quiet.
Danny.
That can't be Chigger. He could never do that.
Maybe it's a killer Chigger sent.
Why should he tell me he's next door? I'm going to do a step that nobody else in the business can do except me. Let's see what happens. Do that if you can.
What does it mean, Danny?
Someone's calling me. Someone wants to see me. Someone in the next room.
Who?
I ain't sure. But a magician in Denver once told me that when you hear something like this happen, I'm going in there.
No, Danny,
Let go
don't.
of me.
Danny!
There was no one in the hall. I tried the door of the room on the right of mine. It was open. I went in. At first, I didn't see anything. It was black. Only the dim light coming up from the street. My eyes got used to it. Then I saw him. Standing in front of the window, he looked like me. Only he looked like I always thought I'd look when I'd be dead. That's the way the magician in Denver said it would be. A guy the spitting image of you. I was scared stiff. I yelled, "What do you want?"
What do you want?
I know who you are.
Who you are?
You ain't alive.
You ain't alive.
If I gotta live, just give me a break.
Give me a break.
Come here.
Here.
I'll grab
you.
I reached for him, but he stepped backwards right through the window and disappeared. I looked down to the street. Nothing there but some broken glass. I knew I wouldn't see anything. From what that magician in Denver told me, it could only mean two things. Either my number was up, or my luck had changed.
Danny?
Okay, baby, pack your clothes. We're getting out of here.
Danny?
What's the matter? What are you looking at me like that for? I ain't scared of Chigger now.
Oh, Danny.
What? Chigger? Chigger, where is he?
He's in the closet. That's what I tried to tell you. He came in while you was in that other room.
Shut up and don't move, Danny.
You look just like a statue, except for the sweat dripping over your eyes. That's how I like to see you, Danny. Still. Very still.
Chigger, that gun.
Ain't you gonna say hello to me, Danny?
Hello, Chigger?
Chigger, you can't do it. You ain't gonna do it. Not to Danny.
No, baby. Get away from him.
No.
Do what he says.
No, but Danny.
Please.
No.
Knock her down. Get her away. Go on.
Baby.
No, Danny, I want to stay with you.
That's better.
How'd you find out I was here?
The manager. He's a friend of mine. He told me 5 days ago. Where's the 5 C's you took from me?
Oh. Here.
Thank you.
Now you got the money. Why not call everything square, huh? After all, you got back your dough.
It ain't the money, Danny. You work for me. You know about me. And I know about you. I know I can't trust you. Never again.
I'll never tell what I know.
Nah, you won't tell.
What are you gonna do?
Have some fun. They tell me you was a dancer once. Dance for me, Danny.
No, Now listen, don't stall it, Chigger. Let me have it right away.
Dance. Go ahead.
Sure.
Yeah, your hubby's pretty good, baby. You love him?
Yeah.
That's fine. So for your sake, I'll do you a favor. I'll polish him off fast right now while he's dancing. That one missed. But these won't.
Danny, he missed. He can't hit you.
It's empty. That one should have got you.
They won't get me, Chigger. Something's happened to me. You can't kill me.
Oh, I done it with my hands before. Oh.
Chigger.
Oh, that pain.
Chigger.
My chest.
He just grabbed his chest. Keeled over.
He's dead.
No. He may be
He's dead. Go ahead, see. He's dead.
Yeah. He's dead. But how?
How? How do you think, baby?
I don't know. He was alive a minute ago, and then... Danny, the room next door, what happened in that room? You were talking crazy when you came out.
Maybe it wasn't so crazy as you thought.
What'd you see in there? What happened?
You wouldn't understand it. But I want to know one thing. Did you tell Chigger I was here?
What are you saying?
You heard me?
No, how could I tell him he was with me all the time? Danny, let go of me.
You could have called him up.
Danny, what's the matter with you?
He wanted to let you live while he was going to kill me. You could have made a deal with him.
How can you say that? Danny, you're out of your head. You don't trust anybody.
No, I don't trust dames anymore. Did you call him? That's what I want to know.
No, I didn't.
I'll find out if you're lying. You better be telling the truth. You saw what happened to Chigger. The same thing could happen to you. You can die just like that if I want you to. You know that's true now, don't you?
Yeah. It's true. I seen it.
I'm going out. I want you to meet me later at our apartment.
Where are you going, Danny?
Where do you think? There's an old score I've got to settle, baby. I think you know who it is.
Danny, no. No, you mustn't.
Baby's face was scared like a kid's when I walked out. She seen what I could do. You don't believe it, mister? I didn't believe it myself until I saw it happen. Chigger died because at that minute I wished he was dead. That magician in Denver told me it could happen like that, and it did. Baby knew where I was going. She knew who I wanted to see. I told her because I wanted to find out just how much I could trust Baby. I had life and death in my hands. Anybody's life or death. I could kill just by thinking about it. Yes, mister, I've still got that power. I can kill you right this second if I want to. It was the queerest thing walking through the streets that night. I seen men, women pass me by. They didn't know it, but just like that, I could have killed them. They didn't know how close they were to dying. They didn't know that the guy they passed on the street had more power than any man on earth. But I was going to use my power on someone who deserved it. On Queenie.
Oh, hello, baby.
Queenie, are you alone?
Yeah, come in.
Lock the door.
Why?
Lock it, please. I don't want him to come here. If he finds us together, he'll kill me. He'll kill us both.
Who? What are you talking about?
I'm talking about Danny. He's coming here to murder you.
Oh, now listen.
Lock the door.
All right. Look, baby, when you called up, you said you had something important to see me about. Now, if you've gone out of your head, I just want to remind you I'm not running any lunatic asylum.
Don't you worry. I'm not crazy. Maybe I'm a little wacky for trying to help you. But I just couldn't see even you get killed without having a chance to save yourself.
Are you really afraid Danny's going to kill me?
I know he is.
That's a laugh.
You wouldn't think it's so funny if you seen how he murdered Chigger.
Danny?
Yeah? And he did it without a gun, without a knife, without his hands. He did it with just his mind.
What are you trying to tell?
I'm telling you to get out of here as fast as you can, to get away where Danny'll never find you.
What kind of a gag is this?
Queenie, I'm risking my life by coming here and telling you this. Something queer, something supernatural happened with Danny tonight, and he's got this power.
Listen, you better go see a head doctor.
Try to explain to her, baby. She won't believe you.
Danny. It isn't old Mr. Big himself. How'd you get in here, Danny?
Over the roof and onto your terrace.
Did you hear?
Yeah, I heard everything you told her, baby.
Danny.
Seems that I can't trust you with a secret, can I?
I didn't want her to die. I didn't want her to die the way Chigger did.
You're a sweet kid, baby, but you're an awful dope.
Don't get sore, Danny.
But I am sore. I told you what would happen to any dame that would double-cross me.
Don't kill me. You mustn't...
He can't kill you.
Oh, Queenie, would you like to see how it's done?
Yes, I'd like to see how it's done. I'll call your bluff.
Sure. Watch.
Danny.
No use pleading, baby. I know what you are now.
Danny, honest, you don't understand. I just warned her because I love you. I didn't want you to get into trouble.
You tipped off Chigger because you didn't want me to get in trouble, too. You told him where to find me because you loved me.
I didn't tell him where you were, honest. Danny,
Good a liar as you were, Queenie. But maybe I'm wise to her because I didn't love her as much as I loved you.
Thought you were going to kill her. I'm still waiting.
You won't have to wait long.
Oh, Danny. Stay back.
No
Danny,
use, baby.
Look out, baby. You're backing out to the terrace.
Danny, don't come any closer. I won't tell anyone ever.
It's too late.
Baby, come back here.
Danny, let me live.
You've always been soft. Mush.
Come back.
I can't. I'm sorry.
Still think I'm bluffing, Queenie?
She fell off of the terrace. Quite an act. How'd you do it?
Would you like to find out?
Gonna pull the same act on me?
That's what I came here for.
Then why are you waiting?
Maybe because it's the first time I've seen you in years.
How do you think I look?
Beautiful. You're still the most beautiful woman I ever knew.
Maybe you ought to think of that before
I murder you?
I've always loved you, Danny.
Are you kidding?
Give me a chance to prove it.
A chance?
You gave Baby a chance. You didn't do anything to her. You were sure she double-crossed you. Why don't you give me the same chance? Maybe if you found out how much I love you, you wouldn't want to kill me. You might want to take me in your arms again. Give me a chance.
Why not? You got your car downstairs?
Yeah?
Now let's get out of here.
Why?
When they find Baby, they'll be coming up to ask questions.
Why don't you say something, Danny? You haven't said a word since we left.
I've been thinking things over.
What thing?
All the things that happened between you and me.
Why'd you stop?
Because this is a good place to stop. Nice, quiet street, no houses. On a block like this, you could scream and scream, and no one would hear you.
Danny.
Giving you your chance, Queenie?
I know what you mean. You're wondering why I left you, why I broke up the act.
Yes, Queenie. You never did tell me why.
Well, I know you thought that agent was in love with me, but I left you in Denver and went to New York because he really did have this job for me. I made a hit in that show. That's how I got my start. I did it for you.
For me?
You know what was happening to vaudeville. You know what was happening to our act. Broadway was the only place we could make a living. You couldn't go on starving. Just as soon as I got the job, I tried to send for you.
Did you?
Sure, but I could never find you. I tried, but you disappeared.
You didn't try hard enough. All our friends knew where I was. And I tried to get in touch with you. You wouldn't even answer my letters.
You're the only one I love, Danny. I don't care if you kill me. I'm just happy to be close to you. Just to be near you again. Oh, to put my arms around you. Be able to kiss you again. I love you, Danny.
Too late, Queenie.
Too late?
Yes. You're going to die.
When'll it happen?
Any second.
Can you stop it?
No.
Well, I'm waiting. Why don't it happen? I don't feel anything. No pains, nothing.
It will happen.
What?
Yes. Just a minute. I want you to die. And you will die.
Well, seems I'm very much alive.
I don't know. What happened?
I do. You're out of your head. That's what's the matter with you. You never did have much of a brain anyway. With no accident, you ended up as one of Chigger's boys. You couldn't even dance any good.
Queenie.
I only hooked up with you because I was starving and I never did love you, not for 2 cents. I couldn't stand the sight of you. There's a cab coming down the street. Now I'm getting out of here. If you ever bother me again, I'll have you sent to the movie hatch.
She stepped out of the car and walked into the gutter. At that minute, I thought maybe she was right. Maybe I was imagining things. Maybe I didn't have this power. I saw her lift her hand to hail the cab, and then... The cab kept going. I got out. Looked at her just to make sure. She was dead, all right. My power didn't fail. So then I checked in at this hotel and sent for you.
Why'd you pick on me, Danny?
Because you're a reporter.
What's that got to do with it?
Sometimes I think this never happened. Sometimes I think I dreamed up the whole thing. I want you to check up on it for me. I couldn't ask the police to do it.
I get it. Now, who's this guy you heard in the next room, the one who gave you this so-called power?
The magician in Denver said this is what they call a doppelganger. It's a kind of devil that has evil powers.
Well, couldn't you have just seen yourself reflected in that window?
No. What I'm telling you is true. Here's the names and addresses so you can check it. If it wasn't true, do you think I'd be here like this? Don't you see what's happening to me? I'm so scared I can hardly breathe. Don't you see that any second I might do something everybody does in their life? I might wish I was dead, and that what I'm telling you is absolutely true.
Okay, Danny. Maybe it is. You don't have to bang on the table.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Listen.
What? Did he reply?
He's in the next room. He wants me. I've got to go.
No, wait a moment, Danny.
Goodbye.
I waited there for a moment after Danny left. I heard nothing. And then I ran to the room next door. Danny was dead. There wasn't a mark on him. I checked Danny's story from beginning to end. Baby was in the morgue, listed as jumped or fell from Queenie's penthouse. Queenie was found by the cops in the street where Danny left her. We found Chigger in the hotel room, dead. The immediate cause of his death was marked unknown. The same with Danny. Maybe he was half-cracked. Maybe his talking about it suggested it to my mind, but I'll never forget the sound of that rapping coming from that empty room.
Of course, Danny wasn't really mad. Such things happen to anyone who's a little off the beam. And who isn't? By the way, if you ever try to strike up a conversation with a lovely ghost, don't get sore if she gives you an empty stare. She can't help giving you the ghoul shoulder. Which brings us to the moral of tonight's story. Never drop dead when your friends tell you to. That's how friendships break up. Good night. Pleasant dreams.
Inner Sanctum was heard in the United States over CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System, and has been rebroadcast for servicemen and women overseas. This is the United States Armed Forces Radio Service, the voice of information and education.
That's our strange tale for this week. You can find more from Inner Sanctum at relicradio.com, alongside thousands of other old-time radio episodes available there to listen to for free. You'll also find our Shoutcast stream, all the other podcasts, and our donate button is there if you'd like to help support this and all of the shows, help keep them all free and coming to you every week. Your support is how all of this is made possible. My thanks, as always, to those who have helped out. Thanks for joining me today. I'll be back next Sunday with a story from the CBS Radio Mystery Theater, another episode of Relic Radio's Strange Tales.